get ready with me, which is basically watch me sort my hair out. It's 5 to 8 right now. I need to head down for breakfast in 5 minutes. I had a really good morning. The showers here are actually like so good. I think that's the one thing that's gonna bump the rating all the way up, because the showers were so nice. I literally can't stress that enough. And the water was just, I'm a burning hot shower girl. The water was nice temperature for me, and I was just loving it. I don't usually take those like 40-minute showers, but I was really tempted to because it was such a nice shower. I just love the bathroom, really. I slept good. The bed is nice. Don't get me wrong, the bed is lovely. My only criticism of the bed would be that the duvet wasn't as thick as I would have wanted it to be. I wasn't cold, but I wasn't like that nice, warm, snuggly kind of toastiness that you get when you're in your own bed. But that's really minor. That's literally so minor. But yeah, I slept good. The bed was nice. Woke up, showered, gonna head down for breakfast. Just sorting out my hair now. And then, yeah, so today we have 2 academic sessions. And then following those, we have breakfast, 2 academic sessions, lunch. And then we have a closing little talk at 12:30. And then at 2 o'clock, I will be making my way back to the train station. I think my train's at 3, so I do have a bit of time to like wander, but I'll probably head to the train station or buy food from Tesco's, depends how lunch goes. And then I'll be home. And probably on the train is when I'll do my final review and final ratings and everything. But yeah, you will hear from me later. The vibes today is a beigey, oversized sweatshirt, hoodie thing, brown leggings, trainers. My hair, all I did to it was the front bits that have gone frizzy, I've just put in twists, and then the rest I've just left out. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. I'm probably going to chuck on my mum's jacket that I borrowed because it has pockets and I need pockets, and it really was a lifesaver yesterday because I just had my phone, my pens. So yeah, I'm gonna chuck that on top. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing today. Good morning. I'm on my way to the gym. It is a Saturday morning. I got back and I've not had a free minute in my house where it's been quiet, where I can finish off my video. I'm not gonna do that on my way to the gym, but probably later today I'll try and do a little sit down, fill you in on what happened on the rest of my journey and do my ratings, because I just want to get this video up and out and show people. Instead of having to talk about it, I just want to be able to go, here's how Cambridge was. But yeah, I will. Oh, there's cars driving past, so that means I'm gonna go. But yeah, no, I did enjoy it. In hindsight, I did enjoy it. But yeah, I'll get into it in a bit. I'm back for the end of my video because I've put it off for so long. If I put it off any longer, you'll never get in the end of the video. Okay. It's now Saturday evening. Thursday morning. I had my breakfast. Insert somewhere. And I'm just going to talk through the breakfast because it really had me in the first half of the breakfast. It actually looks kind of decent. Let me not lie, it looked good. I saw it, I was excited. I was thinking, I'm getting my protein. I was excited for the breakfast. I sat down, cut into the sausage. It was so good. Honestly, probably the best I've ever had. Okay, up there, because I'm a breakfast girl. It was up there. And I was like, okay, if the sausage tastes good, maybe the eggs will be good, maybe the beans will be good. Tasted the egg, and I was like, oh. Tasted the beans, and I was like, oh. I tasted the hash brown. Me and hash browns, I love hash browns so much. I can rate you hash browns from different supermarkets, from different brunch places. When I tell you the hash brown really let me down. The cooking, like the quality of cooking was good, don't get me wrong. The problem was I just needed a bit of seasoning. I just needed a bit of butter, a bit of salt, a bit of flavor. Like, I don't know, it was giving water. And I was so sad because it started so well and then it just fell a bit flat, but it was still good, don't get me wrong, it was edible. It just wasn't what I hoped it would be, but it was still good. So the breakfast, it was definitely better than the dinner the night before. By the way, the way the food works at Cambridge is there's, well, for lunch and dinner, there's 2 mains, 2 sides, and then 2 something else's. I can't remember what it was. But you go and you pick. So when I had dinner, it was salmon or steak. But I knew the steak wasn't well done, and I don't eat any meat unless it's well done, so I got salmon. And then there was fries or potatoes. I got the fries, and then there was 2 sauce looking things, and I got one of them. But yeah, for breakfast they had different egg options. So what's it called, just normal cooked and then scrambled and then sausages, hash brown. Yeah, so what was on my plate is what I got. But the breakfast was it wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad. It was a good breakfast, it just wasn't the level. Like, I make better breakfast at home, you know. It was still not living up to my home food cooking. So yeah, after that we had a tour of King's, which I put in earlier in the video. And after the tour of King's we had academic session number 2. So on Wednesday I had 1 academic session, Thursday I had my 2nd academic session, and let me try and remember what it was on. Oh, it was on chemistry. And I quote the PhD student who taught us, when you get to a high level, chemistry is basically physics and maths. So the chemistry lecture was a physics and maths lecture, and he tried his best. It was interesting what he was saying, like I enjoyed learning it, but it was at a very, very, very advanced level. I don't know if he was fully aware that we're only year 12 because he was talking about concepts that were mixing and matching so much together. It was like my brain was like, oh, because I was like, oh, this is from stats and maths. Oh, this is from physics. This is from, and I was just jumping between, and I was thinking, if you don't do chemistry and maths and you've sat in this thinking, sorry, if you don't do physics and maths and you've sat in this thinking it's a chemistry lecture, your brain is going to be gone. Because I do all 3 sciences and maths. So luckily I was like, okay, this is from here and this is from here and this is from here. But if you don't do maths or physics and you attended that chemistry lecture, your brain would have been gone. Even me doing maths, my brain was still gone for most of it. I had to keep being like, okay, I recognize that from stats. Oh, okay, I recognize that from physics. And I was putting the own pieces in my head together. Because, you know, when you get really intellectual people, like, I knew this guy was smart just from the way he was speaking. I was like, you have a lot of knowledge, but I don't think he knew how to break it down to our level. Because there was this girl who did not, she said she didn't do physics or maths, and she was asking him questions and she was asking him to explain concepts, and he really struggled breaking it down. And to be fair, I don't know how he could break it down without teaching her all the physics and maths content in A-level, because it was quite a lot that she couldn't follow on to, and fair enough, because it was very advanced. Almost too advanced, but it was challenging. But my takeaway from that is that I know a couple definitions of things, but I didn't learn and process actual information. After first academic session, we headed into 2nd academic session, which was on biological sciences. So the one I spoke about, the chemistry one, was too advanced. This one, the biological science one, was very watered down. So it was like, I did enjoy the lecture, don't get me wrong. And actually, the last lecture I had for the third session was actually my favourite lecturer, because the way he taught was so good. And he was one of those people, he explained everything really well. And I actually went away from that thinking, if this is the quality of Cambridge lectures, then I'm going to enjoy this. Because he was an actual lecturer, I think. Everyone else was students, but like that was actually his job, to teach people, and I could see the difference because he just explained everything really, really well. So his one was on pandemics, epidemics, diseases, that kind of thing. And most of it was, when you talk about a topic such as that, we all pretty much we all pretty knowledgeable on it, because I mean COVID, we kind of already know most of what there is to know. Again, with that, it was kind of like, it wasn't academically challenging, but it was still interesting. It was like a refresher, and then building on a couple more layers, but I feel like he could have gone a bit more in depth with that. So the session is kind of like, it's like picking it out of a hat. One of them was too challenging for me to follow along. The other one was very, very okay for me to follow along, but almost too easy for me to follow along. But that was definitely the one I enjoyed the most, the biological sciences one, because like I just value a good teacher, and he could teach really well. So that was good. And afterwards, there was a lot of walking between Christ and King's. So in case I didn't explain, I'm sleeping at King's. Some of the academic sessions are in Christ, some of them are in King's. It's like a 4-minute walk. It's so close to each other, all the colleges. So we're just walking back and forth between sessions and between lunch times, and then between like the general things. So then after that, we went to have lunch, insert photo somewhere. I hope there's space in the frame for me to put the photo, otherwise I'll just cover my own face. Lunch was the best meal I had at Cambridge. They really stepped it up. So I go, and it was some beef pie thing, and then the rice was cumin rice. It wasn't quite at the level of the food I cook at home, but there was definitely some flavour there, and I was happy. I was just happy to have some flavour in the food. But it was good. It was actually good. It was what I'd call, it was actually a decent meal. And it was definitely the best meal we had. So the pie, pastry, bacon, beef, and like a sauce thing, and then the rice was good. The rice needed a bit when I cook rice at home, I add salt and butter and let it cook all together so that the rice has some flavour, and I was just missing that. Other than that, it was edible. It was good. It was the best meal I had at Cambridge. So I'll happily take it. I couldn't record, so I just kept taking really quick photos. So it's a bit, the photo's not the best angle. I'm not really doing it justice, but I ate it and I was content. So that was good. After that, we had a closing talk in which they just reminded us of the deadlines for applying at Cambridge. And then we were free to go. Came back home. No, did not come back home. Took a detour through Downing because I was walking with my friend who was also on the trip with me. And when we were walking, he was like, "Oh, that's a college that I walked through on his way to King's the day before." And I was like, "What, it's just open?" He was like, "Yeah, I just took a walk through." I was like, "Do you mind if we go take a walk?" So here's a little video of Downing. Such a nice college. I literally don't know how anyone is meant to choose between the colleges at Cambridge, because they're all so pretty. I think I'm gonna have to narrow it down based on like, how do I say, like actual things each college provides, because in terms of looks, they're also nice. Downing, because before that I thought I was gonna apply to, I think it's St. Catherine's or Catherine's. Then when I went to King's, No, before I went to King's, I wanted to apply to Christ. Then when I went to King's, I was like, okay, now I want to apply to King's. Then walking back, seeing Downing, it was so pretty. Now I feel like applying to Downing. So I need to have a think about which one to pick. But let me get into the rating now. Best part of the video, we've been waiting for this. Ratings. So let's start with the food. Why not? Let's start with food. I'd say the first meal, I'd give a 4 out of 10. The second meal, I'd give a 5 out of 10. And the last meal, I'd give a 6 out of 10. So overall, the food at Cambridge, I'm rating 5 out of 10, which I think is fair. If I did go to Cambridge, I don't think I'd be eating much at the canteens. I think I'd be cooking my own food, meal prepping, freezing it all. I think that's what I'd have to do. But I mean, once or twice a semester, I could go get some food. Next thing I want to rate is the buildings, the architecture, the vibes as it was. I didn't even get to film. There was a bit where we went into one of the libraries and I just love the like old feel of it. If I'm rating how it looks and just the buildings, the structure of Cambridge, of the colleges, I would give that a solid 9 out of 10 because I could just stay there all the time. It's just so, I just love it. My room is a 10 out of 10. That's a no-brainer. The room at Cambridge is bigger than my room at home. It's a 10 out of 10. The teaching and the academic sessions, now this is going to be a bit biased because I had 2 students and 1 lecturer. The content is fine. It's just like the style of teaching. Obviously, they're known for their small group teaching, but in this scenario, it had to be bigger groups. I would give the teaching a 7 out of 10, which I think is fair based on what I've said previously. I think a 7 out of 10 is okay, but bear in mind, there's bias there. I was taught by students, but yeah. The people at Cambridge is hard to rate because there's the people I went with on the trip and there's the students that I spoke to. The people I went with on the trip, I'd probably rate a 3 out of 10. The students at Cambridge seemed like they all vibed together. There was a bit in the student Q&A where they was all just talking and laughing, and I was like, okay, there's an actual like friendship here. So I'd probably rate the people at Cambridge a fair 8 out of 10. They seem like good vibes. And I feel like Cambridge is somewhere, like I said earlier, it's going to be what I want to make it. So if I find the right people, then I can find people who are 8, 9, 10 out of 10. And I'll have a good time. But yeah. Cambridge as a city is actually really nice. Cambridge is basically London, but cleaner, less busy, and just nicer overall. So Cambridge as a city, like I'd actually love to live there because you have the best of both. You have a city, which is like the town, the shopping centre, the bustling life of it all. And then you have the countryside bits. There's so much greenery. I'd actually love to live there. Like even if not for uni, it's actually just a nice place in general. So I can't fault it. 10 out of 10. I actually can't fault Cambridge as a city. And I think the last thing I'm going to rate is my view of Cambridge as a whole. Everything all together. I would say that I rate Cambridge a 7.25 out of 10. Because there were some good bits, there were some bad bits. But overall, I think it is a nice place if you can find your place within it. So yeah, that's my rating of Cambridge, 7.25 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed this YouTube video. Don't know whether to start becoming a YouTuber after this. Might be consistent for 2 weeks and then stop when school starts again. But yeah, if you made it to the end of this probably 30-minute video, thank you for watching. like, share, subscribe, and yeah, hope you enjoyed my thoughts, my views, and thank you for watching.